but the bats got it done. And man, I don't know where you want to start with this offensive performance. They scored 9 runs in the sixth inning. Sixth inning, 9 runs, nice, and hit 5 doubles in there. Joey Loperfido and Jose Altuve both have 2 doubles and 3 hits apiece. Alex Bregman was good again, and let's actually start there because we've spent, I think, the better part of the first couple months of the Astros season, like just kind of lamenting the fact that Alex Bregman's fallen apart. It's his last season here. Now he's got no trade value and he's not doing anything for you. But when you look at what Alex Bregman has done recently, he's basically now, fell into the start of the season, then getting hot towards the middle of the season that he does every single year. So Bregman really sneakily rebounding into form since Bregman's average hit 189 after their May 8th game against the Yankees. Bregman since from May 9th forward, is hitting 299 with an 876 OPS. You'd obviously take both of those. Those are damn near elite. 299 certainly elite. 876 is pretty close to elite. With a 162 game pace of 33 home runs and 96 RBI. I mean, 299, 33 home runs, 96 RBI. Sounds like basically Alex Bregman. So, Sean, were we overreacting to the early season slump from Bregman? It was this more severe slump than we're used to seeing from Bregman, but he's right back and hitting Alex Bregman for him.
Yeah, it was. I think that was what was most alarming, and the fact that it was normally when he comes out slow, the Astros aren't a million games back in the division in the early part of the season.
Right.
So
they can withstand it. Yeah.
It was even more. It stood out even more because it was a down year for the Astros as a whole. So him coming back, I mean, especially with this Tucker injury that was supposed to be like 3 days, and now it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You need all the help you can get, and they got it from, like you said, Altuve, Loperfido, but Bregman's really been pushing it or pulling his weight here the last couple weeks.
I don't think it was an overreaction. I get that he does this every season, but I think that's kind of my point at the same time too. Is like I'm over he starts like this every year. Okay, well, like you've been in the league for 8 years now.
Yeah.
Like,
can we mix it up a little?
Can you just
because
be consistent?
you always do it doesn't mean it's okay.
Yeah,
exactly. And even more so, it did stand out because the team was struggling. But it's just like, okay, this is when the team needs you. Like you don't have any more exceptions to start off slow. Like especially this year. So I'm happy that he's picked up the pace, but I honestly don't know if I'm even believing that he's going to keep up with it. Like I feel like there's just something off this year with him.
I mean, it's hard to nitpick what he's done. I mean, again, like the stats that I mentioned, hitting 299 with an 876 OPS since May 9th. Maybe he drops off. I just think he's going to be, and I mean, obviously he's going to have a great legacy here in Houston as one of the 5 guys to win 2 World Series titles with the team. But it's going to be a complicated history at times because he had the highest of highs in 2018 and 2019. 2019, he hits 40-plus home runs, finishes second in the MVP voting to, I believe, Mike Trout. And then he has a long stretch, 2020, 2021, where the offensive numbers went way down. And the last 2 years, 2023 and this year, he's rebounded, once it hit late May, early June. But you spend the first 2 months of the season like, God, this guy is not only is he not hitting well, he's dragging the team down, not to Jose Abreu levels, but he was arguably through the first month the second worst. If it wasn't for Jose Abreu, Alex Bregman would have been the worst offensive player of the team through like the first month. So it's a complicated legacy with Bregman.
I mean, we saw it when Abreu got sent to Florida for 3 weeks. Who became the piñata? It was Alex Bregman kind of became the piñata for Astros fans' frustrations with the team because, like I said, unlike every other year when Bregman starts off slow, the entire team started off slow this time around. So that mixed with the fact that it was a contract year, and I think a lot of expectations. I know at least for the shows that I work on, the expectation was, well, if it's going to be a contract year for Bregman, if any time he was going to come out swinging, or I guess swinging well, if he was going to come out,
he did swing. Yeah.
he swung.
He came out swinging and missing.
It was popping up.
Yeah, yeah, that too.
If there's any season who's going to come out the gates red hot, it was going to be contract year Alex Bregman, insulted by the offers that have been made by the Astros, and instead it was not even same old, it was worse than before. And you add in the fact that this was his age 30 season too. So at a certain point, you do think, well, there is going to be a drop, or not a drop off, but a tail off in his production coming. And if he couldn't get it right this year, it might never come back. So it is nice that, again, he has proved the haters and doubters wrong, at least temporarily.
Well, and I think another thing to look at too is, like, at least in the past, you've been able to count on him to have a really good walk to strikeout ratio. Like in years before, he's always had more walks than strikeouts and a good on base percentage. This year it is the complete opposite. Like, his on base percentage, I think, is what, 311, and he has 20 more strikeouts than he has walks.
That's
so like,
a 311 on base percentage is really low for Alex Bregman.
Yeah, you can look at his numbers and tell that he's still digging himself out of the hole that he put himself into.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So another guy hitting well, I mentioned him at the top, Joey Loperfido. Same as Altuve, both had 3 hits last night, including 2 doubles. Joey Loperfido, he was hitting well before the Astros sent him down. He comes back up. First game yesterday, 3 hits, 2 doubles. He's an absolute machine right now. His average now up to 372, which
is that good?
It's good. I mean, I say it just to point out how well he's been hitting. Obviously,
he's Tony Gwynn. What do you want?
Yeah, he's Kirby Puckett.
He's Tony Gwynn with more pop.
He's the only thing different between him and Ted Williams is Joey Loperfido still has his head. But I don't expect him. What, too soon? No? Too soon? Okay, my bad. All right, my bad. It's a little disrespectful to the estate of Ted Williams. Look, he doesn't have a head. It's frozen. But Joey Loperfido, obviously not going to hit 372. I don't even think he necessarily would hit 272 over the long term. I mean, when you look at his minor league track record, he's more like a guy that will probably, I think, best case scenario, hit 250 to 260, but give you great power. But the question really becomes, now that he's back up, I hope that he's up for the rest of the season. He doesn't continue to yo-yo back and forth between Houston and Sugarland. But where do you play him? Because, he could play the outfield. We think he could play first base, although the Astros don't seem to really want him to, though he did at Duke in college, and he has some in the minors. But, like, what would be your plan going forward, Sean, with how to find at-bats for Joey Loperfido? Like, how are you mix and matching where he plays, who he's taking time from to make sure his bat's in the lineup?
I mean, he could take all the time in the world from Chas McCormick. I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Easy answer.
Yeah.
You can you can put him in center. I would like to see it on the major league level of him in center and Myers.
He's played some center in the minor leagues.
No, but I would just like to see it in, like, before I say he can just throw him in center.
Right. Yeah, before you make him the everyday.
Yes,
sure.
yes. Yeah. But I don't see why there's a reason he can't be, if not every day, then of the vast majority of days and left. I mean, he made a great play last night. I think it was to get the first out of the game in left field. So I think that's a good spot for him. Put Jordan at DH for I don't want to say the majority of the time, but a good amount of the time, probably the majority.
Yeah,
either him or Diaz.
Yeah, Jordan start like once a week in left field. Like,
exactly.
Basically the Fromber start when there's not going to be any fly balls, and then the rest of the time he's DH.
Yeah, just to stay out there, probably more home games than road games. Know, you can be smart about it.
Right.
But yeah, I think I'm ready to stamp Joey Loperfido as an everyday player for the Astros. I don't think there's enough production from the other Astros to keep him out of the lineup credibly, and with how the Astros are this season, I'm okay taking more of not a straight up youth movement, but a pivot to, all right, let's see what Joey's got, because they're already, are they 7 games back?
They're 7 games back in the division, 5, I believe 5 in the wild card.
So I'm okay with it being more of a youth movement as far as at the very least left field. Like, again, Chas McCormick, love the catch in the 22 World Series.
Tip the hat.
Yeah, my heart will go on.
Oh, great.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Look, and if you can say the hell with it and play Dubon at first base, I don't see why you can't put Loperfido at first base.
Put some
when
disrespect
he played
on my man Mauricio
no,
Dubon.
I love Mauricio. Like, I love him, but he was never ever played first base,
Yeah.
and they put him at first base, and Loperfido has actually played first base. So why could you not put him at first base?
I think he literally played 4 games of first base. I think they're all last year before this season. But now
Loperfido?
No.
Oh, Dubon?
Dubon.
Yeah.
In his entire career, he played 4 games of first base, and then now
Like,
it's
well,
like
it can't be any worse.
now we're
Yeah.
just penciling him in as the first baseman most nights.
And I think that's part of the answer is like because Dubon's played so well. I kind of almost want to switch the idea of Dubon's the super utility player. This might sound a little crazy, but Dubon's the super utility player where he's just in the lineup every day because I mean, there's no. I know he swings at everything, he strikes out a lot, but no one I think has better just put the bat on the ball, contact skills than Dubon.
And you see it with the runners in scoring
Right.
position.
So I want him in the lineup every single day. And now Loperfido basically comes at you super utility where maybe twice a week he's starting at first base because I mean John Singleton doesn't deserve to start every single day.
Yes,
Maybe-
Singleton and McCormick do not factor whatsoever into my Loperfido.
Exactly.
Loperfido over both those guys.
So maybe Loperfido starting twice a week at first base for Singleton. Maybe starting twice in a week in center field for when Jake needs a day off or whatever. He's starting in left, and then if Jordan needs to play left because Frommer's on the hill and they're at home, then maybe Loperfido can DH, and you find your way into 5 or 6 starts a week through with Loperfido now becoming kind of the super utility.
Yeah, and even when Tucker comes back, you don't want to rush Tucker back into the outfield. Like that deep bruise, I would be okay with Tucker DHing too at times because I don't want him to aggravate that leg anymore, which would give Loperfido and Dubon more playing time in the outfield too.
Yeah.
So one more thing quickly before we get to break. It's more just a note, and it's just kind of a throw your hands up WTF moment. But the Astros call up Jake Bloss for his major league debut yesterday.
Yeah. Bloss Hog.
Bloss Hog, yeah, like a Bloss. I think we have the Slim Thug song in there we could play at some point. Anyway, so he gets called up. He was a 3rd round pick this year. I know he completely skipped AAA. I think did he skip AA also?
No, he played for the Hawks.
Oh, that's right. He had a no hitter at AA. That's right. But he did skip AAA. He comes up. He's facing obviously like one of the best lineups in all of baseball, and because he's an Astros pitcher, he's hurt already. He's got shoulder
Tweak something.
discomfort as every Astro player from this era seems to have at some point.
Hey,
discomfort.
Hey, they said he wanted to keep pitching, so
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's not that big of an injury.
sure. I mean, you
let
trust
the
anything
Astros
the
tell it?
Astros tell you? I mean, they told you Javier slept wrong and hurt his neck. 3 weeks later, he's having Tommy John.
Yeah.
Somehow the neck bone is connected to the
Hey,
UCL.
Tucker-
I don't get that
Tucker was going to be out like 3 days.
one.
right.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously,
It's just like, come on, man.
It's a when it rains it pours situation. I thought Bloss was fine when you consider the fact that
We consider who he's
first
going
start,
against. Yeah.
never pitched in AAA, playing. I'm gonna crown him the best lineup in baseball.
Certainly Gunnar Henderson, man. You can't get him out.
Jesus,
What a
Jesus.
MVP right now, I think, and I would have to say.
And so all those factors, I liked what I saw out of Bloss. I just wish he could have walked out.
Yeah, wish
with
anyone
both
could stay
shoulders.
healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, who? Man.
I mean, he arguably had the best start of a rookie pitcher this year when you compare Eric Getty and all these other guys. I mean, I know
Eric
he only
Getty had a few good starts.
I'm talking about
debut.
first start.
Oh, debut. Oh, debut. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he only went.
He got
3
Henley.
innings, but
Yeah, well, everybody got Henley. Henley got one out.
Check.
All right, we got to go to break.
one and done.
On the other side, when we get back here on the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. Great win yesterday, but I still think we have to talk about and discuss the looming what-if scenario for the Houston Astros as we get into July and closer to the All-Star break. Should they sell? That question when we return to the Bullpen, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
This is the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here are the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Welcome back in, Houston. ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. Talking Astros here. If you want to join in the conversation, you can call or text our HRMP listener line at 713-780-3776. But we spent last segment talking about, obviously, the fun and the good from last night and the big win over the Orioles. But I still think, as we mentioned in the last segment, you're 5 back in the wild card with multiple teams ahead of you. And then, of course, 7 back in the in the division race. I still think you have to consider the looming threat of being forced into being sellers as we're getting now close to July, about a week away, and the trade deadline will then obviously be coming up about a month later. Look, 7 back in the West, I know people will point to 2005, like, well, the Astros through the first 70 games or whatever, same as the 2000.
That's true.
It's true. I just think when you look at this team, and hell, we just closed the last segment talking about it with all the injuries they've had to their pitching staff. You can point to, well, it's happened before. They can do it again. That's fine. But what are you relying on? Are you relying on guys like Verlander, who are 41 and can't stay healthy? Fromber, who you have no idea what he's going to do from start to start. You got rookies coming up like Jake Bloss, Spencer Arrighetti. You have no idea where you're going to get from him start to start. Oh, we're getting Luis Garcia and Lance McCullers Jr. back. What can you possibly expect from a guy that's hurt as often as Lance McCullers and someone coming back from Tommy John like Luis Garcia?
Cy Ronell.
Cy Ronell. Yeah. You got like one guy you could pencil in like, good start.
Yeah.
And it's the
Blanco
30-year-old who's never done it before. That's what you can pencil in. And then on the offensive side, I mean, we've seen obviously they bounced back huge last night, 14 runs against the Orioles. But this team is, for every game like that, you see them get shut out by, was it Jonathan Cannon from the White Sox, who threw like a 2-hitter against them? They have this up and down Jekyll and Hyde nature where they get just completely shut out by these terrible pitchers like Jonathan Cannon. There's been a few more recently that shut him down. And then they hit like Garrett Crochet. They hit Grayson Rodriguez. I'm forgetting the guy before the Tigers. They hit the Tarek Skubal.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Who's having like a Cy
Young Tarek
season.
Skubal's, top contender for the Cy Young. Garrett Crochet's been great. Obviously, Grayson Rodriguez is a former top overall prospect and been pretty good as well. And then they get shut down by Jonathan Cannon. So I don't think you can really trust this offense to carry them either. And we're getting to the point where, like, because this often comes up when especially on my show, The Killer Bees, where it's like, what is it going to take for you to get back in on the Astros? It's like, well, just win series. Well, you're kind of getting to the point where that's not really good enough.
Was that Jeremy Branham?
That was actually Joel.
Oh,
that was actually Joel.
What would it take for you?
Yeah. I guess that because of the setup, it was more Jeremy, but it was more Joel's train of thought.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, like, you're getting to the point where just winning a series is not good enough because you're so far back, and we can't ignore, like, we're now kind of having a deja vu with this comeback. We did this in May, where I believe it was May 26th. They got to within like 4 games, whatever. But it was after a 12-game stretch where we had 9 games against the Angels and A's.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now the Astros are roaring back. They're I believe only 4 games under 500. They're within 5 in the wild card. But when you look at who they played, it's the Cardinals, it's the Tigers who are mediocre, it's the White Sox. We're getting kind of fooled into the same scenario. When you look ahead in July, you got the Dodgers, you got the Mariners, you got the Rangers, you're at the Twins, you're at the Blue Jays, who aren't great, but you've got to go into another country for 4 games, so that you can't take anything there as guaranteed. I'm just not ready to say I'm back in. I'm definitely not taking selling off the table. And if I get blown away with an offer for anybody like Bregman or Fromber or Presley, who's not here for the long term, who's only signed for this year or this year next, I'm moving on.
Yeah, I think that's fair with the way that they performed this season. I've kind of taken the stance that until they're over 500, like, I'm not going to invest in, and when I say that, I mean, like, be buyers, like how Dana Brown was talking, just, I think earlier this week.
Feels like every week he says it.
Yeah, I mean he says it every week, but I think he said it on Wednesday that they're still looking to be buyers at the deadline. Now he did put some stipulations on it. He did say that he wanted to be 5 games back by the goal was 5 games back by the end of July. That's where he would make the decision of buying or selling, and I think that's good, but. Ultimately you do have to be a good team to make the playoffs. Shocking news.
Hold on. Hold on, Johnny. I don't know if we can we just rewind the last? No, we can't.
Take.
Sean, can you just actually repeat that? I don't think Johnny can rewind time. So can you just repeat your take there?
Ultimately, you have to.
When it revert.
Ultimately, you have to be a good team to make the playoffs.
Okay, see, that's a problem because
and to be a good
they
team,
haven't been one.
To be a good team, you have to win more games than you lose.
Wow,
that's the very, very bare minimum that I'm asking.
Cam, I don't know if you can refute that. I mean,
no,
Sean's spitting facts over here.
That's very sound logic. Look, I feel like it was weeks ago we talked about. I think you asked us the question: where do the Astros have to be at a certain time for you to be on board with them, or like,
that was a great
or
question
buying or selling? Yes, and I think what I said was if they're not at 500 by June, then I'm selling. And I'm going to stick to that. Like, it's June 22nd, and we're 4 games below 500. We're injury riddled. So at this point, I'm all for selling. Like, I never want to be that guy that, like, gives up on the team. I just do not see this team this year making a playoff push.
Yeah, so
like, there's just too many other good teams in the American League. And not to mention, I just got an alert that Max Scherzer is making his debut with the Rangers in 2 days.
He is.
So, like,
he is.
now the Rangers are getting healthier. So,
yeah, like I'm willing to obviously let this month play out. It's June 22nd. We can let 8 days pass by. If they, let's just go pie in the sky, the most optimistic you could possibly be, and say they sweep the Orioles. Then you can't. I don't think we can say sell now. You at least have to be willing to hit the pause button. So, like, I think we're going to have to. But I'm willing to let this play out a few more weeks. But I just think, again, like we got tricked to this in May, like I said, when the soft schedule hit, they suddenly climbed back into it, quote unquote. And then the tougher schedule hit, and they fell right back out to like 10 games under. We're doing the same thing again, where the softer schedule hit. What was the? I wish I had the exact schedule. I'll pull it up here in a second.
We played Colorado after Baltimore, so you would think.
Yeah, Colorado than the Mets.
Yeah, you would think that over the next 8 games,
okay, here we go.
It's very realistic they could get to 500.
The teams they're playing right now that they pulled themselves back into it, you have the Cardinals, they suck. Angels, they suck. The Giants are below 500, and you lost that series. You beat the Tigers, they're below 500. White Sox, the worst team in baseball, and you didn't even sweep them, and now you're facing the Orioles. So you pulled yourself back into this, quote unquote, by facing the dregs of the league. And again, fast forward to next month. Now, as Cam points out, the next 2 series are Rockies and Mets. So if they win this series against the Orioles and then take care of business against the Rockies and Mets, I think a lot of fans are going to be back in. But then you get to July, at the Blue Jays, at the Twins. You got the Rangers, at the Mariners. You got the Dodgers coming to town. It's going to be tough for me to look, getting into August and see this team as a team that you could realistically look at and go, I'm adding. I'm a buyer. I'm going to add to this team. I'm willing to trade the few prospects they have remaining and add to this team for, to make one last push.
Because at the end of the day, they would just have to be a fundamentally different team than they've proven to be so far this season.
Yeah.
That is what you're asking them to do. If you expect them to not just get back right now, but get back and then stay back into this playoff race. Like you said, against all those good teams where the Astros, despite winning last night, they still do not have a good track record against teams that are with a winning record.
Right.
I mean, you can just list off all their wins and you're like, luckily they don't have a playoff committee for baseball.
Like the BCS?
Yeah, because I'm not sure how many quality wins wins the Astros have. And at
quad one wins? No.
I don't think the RPI is very high.
No, it's not.
I think that, like we said, they've had these stretches of easy games so far, and that's when they've made the most ground up. Logically, that means they will have stretches with hard games coming up that you outlined.
It's coming up in July, yeah.
And yeah, you can't really have faith in them getting it together. And so, like you, I'm not in sell now. Sell right now mode, but I am in wait and see. But my personal expectation is that at the end of the road when we get to July 30th, you're probably going to be selling.
Yeah, no,
or at least should be selling.
Now, I got to get to this text before we get into some positive here real quickly.
Okay.
From 0303 talking about Martin Maldonado.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he had a meeting with the Astros players when they were in Chicago, and that motivated him. That's the only reason they scored a season high yesterday. I mean, it's sound logic.
Yeah.
I mean, Maldi
I'll take
got to talk to the Astros for the first time all season, and then they go off and score 14 runs.
Do you think he shook Joey Loperfido's hand, and then Joey Loperfido
It's
looked
like,
at his hand?
He hasn't washed it since.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
There's 2 doubles in these hands.
You're gonna trade for Maldonado to be a consultant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, good luck charm. Yeah, exactly. So quickly, some positive, real quickly, before we go into the break. Hunter Brown has been absolutely fantastic. We talked about it a little bit last week, but last 6 games, he's got a 1.70 ERA, 41 strikeouts in 37 innings, and it goes back even further than just the small 6-game sample size. Since that blow up in KC where he gave up like 11 hits and 9 runs in the first inning, his ERA is 3.38, and it's like 12 starts. It's not, extremely small sample size, more strikeouts than innings pitched in that season as well. And I looking at this team going forward, Verlander's 41. He's not staying healthy. Fromber's up and down. I don't want to give that guy a long-term contract as he's hitting 30. Javier's coming off of Tommy John. Lance McCullers, shrug emoji. Jose Urquidy is constantly mid. Renel Blanco's 30. I don't have any expectation for him to develop into a long-term ace. I think combined with what else they have and how well Hunter Brown has been pitching, and it kind of coincides when the pitching coaches, I think it was the sinker that they gave him that they worked on and added to his repertoire. I think you're looking at Hunter Brown realizing his potential as an ace and being the Astros ace next season.
I'm not ready to throw the A word
Next
around.
season, Sean.
I'm not ready to throw the A word around on Hunter Brown.
A-hole?
No, the A word.
Oh, ace. Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know what. Okay.
You said you're the one that started the A word talk. No.
I don't know why you're calling ace A word.
Because I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it when
do we have to
about Hunter
bleep
Brown.
ace? Johnny, bleep ace.
No, I mean it has been impressive. It has been encouraging what we've seen from Hunter Brown. Like you said, it's more than just a couple good starts at this point. I still just want to
Ace, Sean. Come with me. Who's coming with me?
Maybe
Cam, you with me? Ace Hunter Brown.
No.
Oh,
maybe it's because it's the last 7 years of Houston Astros baseball has spoiled us, and the aces have been
Garrett Cole,
Justin Verlander, good Fromber Valdez, Zach Greinke.
Right.
That's what I think of as an ace. I think Hunter Brown could be a very viable number 2.
Or he could be the ace that you got. Every team in the league has a number 1 starter.
That's true, Sean. That's true. The math checks out. Yeah, the math checks out.
And so he could be the Astros' number 1 starter. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure about Ace and holding him to that standard quite yet. I mean, he can still get there. He has the pedigree that you'd expect. But again, I just want to see a little bit more pelts on the wall.
I think we just have to be willing to accept that not every ace follows the same timeline as every other ace. Because this guy,
that's fair.
He was a 5th-round pick, which isn't late, but it's not a first-round pick like Verlander. He wasn't a first-round pick, so you shouldn't have the same expectations that you would for first. He's drafted in 2019. Obviously, 2020 COVID season's completely wiped out. He doesn't get to pitch, and he doesn't make a top 100 prospect team until the preseason for 2023. So he's not following the same expedited path that a lot of the aces have hit. I mean, this is a guy that I think just because, again, we said this last week, you put him side by side with Verlander. Oh, it's baby Verlander. He's not on the same timeline as Justin Verlander. I think we have to be willing to accept. Yeah, he sucked for the second half of last year, but he's not on the same timeline as every ace. He's different than those guys.
That is fair. I think some of it is coming from the side-by-sides and the overlays with Justin Verlander.
So
and then seeing what you got out of him the first month of this season. And maybe it's some bias there of just writing him off as like, okay, so really, it's just because he kind of looks like Justin Verlander when he pitches. Now we're calling him Justin Verlander, and he just gave up 7 runs in the first inning. Sweet. Love it. But yeah, no, he's definitely been good. He is someone that in the post-Verlander world, and, like you said, Fromber's only signed for next year. In the Fromber and Verlander rolled, it very likely could be the number one starter for the Astros.
All right, call us or text us on the HRMP listener line if you want to get any thoughts in on the Astros, but we are moving on to the Texans next. That listener line, I guess I should give it out. 713-780-3776. That's professional work there. When we get back on the bullpen, we are moving over to the Texans, and I've got a thought on why this year's Houston Texans team is going to be different than teams in the past that were hyped up and ultimately failed. That when the bullpen returns on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
You're back inside the bullpen with the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. Again, if you want to get on the conversation, call or text the HRMP listener line. We're going to talk Texans here in a second. But give it a call. Text us at 713-780-3776. But first, Sean, your first half Pacific Coast League champions, the Sugarland Space Cowboys, which can be heard 6 days a week on ESPN 92.5. They've got an ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 coming up this next week.
Yes, that's June 27th, Thursday. Come join us at the Space Cowboys game for the aforementioned ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 night. Our listeners can get tickets to the game for just $9.25, $9.25.
Like
Same station that you can hear all Space Cowboys games on. Just enter code ESPN 925. Come watch the future of the Astros with us. See if any of our hosts will embarrass themselves throwing out the first pitch like Brad Kellner did last year. It's going to be Jeremy Branham. I can report this. This is an exclusive. I don't think it's an exclusive. I think we've already talked about it. But the two hosts throwing out the first pitch, Jeremy Branham of the Killer Bees, and Paul Gallant of Gallant and George.
Ooh, okay. So how serious? Okay, you know Paul pretty well, obviously, having worked for him the last 3 years,
2 years.
2 years.
Don't do that to me.
I didn't age you 19 years like Cam tried to put on
don't add
on
another
during the break.
year on that. No,
but Paul is a competitive man. He's someone
baseball background.
True or false? He's someone known to carry around equipment so that he's ready for a pickup football game at any time.
True.
Respect.
So So how seriously is he taking this first pitch?
Very seriously.
Is he training?
I don't know about training, but he has brought up his baseball background before and what that means as far as his own expectations for himself and what goals he has when it comes to this first pitch. So I'd expect max effort from Paul.
Okay, you think he's bringing the heat, or is he going to try to throw a breaking pitch here? Is he going to shake the catcher off and call his own pitch?
It'll be a fastball, and I don't know if he's going to try to light up the.
I think he's going up and in.
Okay, I don't know if he was going to try to light up the radar gun or not, but
I would like to see him throw a knuckleball.
Okay, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
maybe Branham seems more like
Branham seems like more like a knuckleball.
A wily.
Yeah.
Those things are
look at
hard to
Branham
throw.
Is he a crafty
That's
lefty?
a knuckleball guy.
Is he a crafty lefty?
I don't think he's lefty.
Oh, okay.
No, but I see him as a knuckleball guy.
Jamie Moyer type?
Jamie Moyer.
Hey, those are hard pitches.
Rich Hill
pitches to
type.
throw.
I was just naming old pitchers who pitched into their 40s. J-Bone, as he likes to call himself, is not even in his 40s yet. Anyway. All right, Texans. That's what we're talking about. Houston Texans. And again, if you have any thoughts, HRMP listener line 713-780-3776. So I had this thought. I was actually doing yard work yesterday. I don't know why this thought came up to me as I was mowing the yard.
Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
Before? Oh yeah.
Friday
morning.
It was like 10 o'clock yesterday.
I'm glad. Thank you for starting at 10.
No, I'm not a guy that gets up at 6 a.m. and mows the yard. Even if I am up, which I am most of the time.
They were jackhammering at our apartment pool, like jackhammering stones outside of my balcony at like 7:30 in the morning.
No, I have I wake up really early most of the time, but I have a rule that I won't start mowing before 9 a.m. just out of courtesy.
Out of respect.
Yeah. Now, actually, 8 a.m. weekdays, because most people, well, maybe not the people in this room, but most people by 8 a.m. they're already up to go to their 9 to 5 job. But weekend at 9 a.m. Yeah, like I'll sleep in, I'll mow at 9. That's fine.
Okay.
You're a gentleman and a scholar. So
Yeah, I try to be.
Okay, so as you're mowing,
as that refrains to the Houston Texans. No, I just had this thought about, because I think a lot of people, and I don't know, we talked about Jason Braddock's comments last week being the lone dissenter about the Texans, and he seemed to be upset that they were talking so much. But there seemed to be, like, whenever the topic comes up, like, okay, if they fail, why do they fail? Like the popular pushbacks, sophomore slump for CJ Stroud. It's just, to me, kind of lazy narrative. So I started thinking, like, look, I think this is a product of, and Sean, you said it during the break, same old Texans. The people are just stuck on from 2002 through basically last year, not up to the start of last year.
Up until August.
Right, up until August. That whenever you actually think the Texans are going to do something, it's going to be same old Texans. They're going to find a way to disappoint you. But I'm looking at this team and comparing them to the teams that got hyped in the past, and I just don't see them as being, comparable. Like if you go way back, and the hype levels are obviously going to be different comparatively for the expectations at the time. But the Texans going into year 3 with David Carr, there were some expectations. They had progressed each year. People thought they could go, or actually year 3, they go 7-9. They disappoint you by not getting to 8-8 in year 3. Next year, they follow up 2-14.
Yeah.
They fell flat on their face when you thought this team was about to take the next step, getting to a winning record. Then you fast forward, obviously, to the Matt Schaub era. Obviously, 2011, Matt Schaub gets hurt. You can't really blame him for that. But 2012, they go out to 11-1 record. And then just completely crap the bed down the stretch. Don't even get a bye. Get knocked out in the second round.
Lose 3 out of the last 4.
Yeah, they were 12-1, finished the year, or 11-1, finished the year 12-2, or 12-4. So they crap out down the stretch. Don't get a bye. Get their asses kicked by the Patriots in the second round, and follow that up with a 2-14 season the next year in 2013.
That is the most same old Texans.
Right.
Is make the playoffs 2 straight years, bring back a lot of the same core. And then somehow you're the worst team in the league.
Yeah, exactly. And then so you fast forward. Okay, now Bill O'Brien's here, and you're back in the playoffs in 2015. Now it was as a 9-7 team winning the crappy AFC South.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Brian, AFC South champs 2 in a row. But you're starting Brian Hoyer, and you get your ass kicked by the Chiefs 30-0 in the first round of the playoffs, right?
Mhm.
All right, so now we get past this era. We got Deshaun Watson. We don't know he's a pervert yet. There's hope. 2018, they get back into the playoffs after coming back from the season where he tore his ACL, where they same old Texans as his ACL.
Yeah.
They get into the playoffs in 2018, and the Colts dominate you.
Yeah,
I know it was
yeah.
only 21-7
No,
on the
it was
scoreboard. That
absolute
was an ass kick.
It was a no-show.
That was an ass kicking. Okay, fast, go for the next year. Hey, they win a playoff game with Deshaun Watson. They beat the Bills. They're up 24-0 on the Chiefs, and 51-27, I think was the final score, something like that.
The Chiefs came back and were leading at halftime.
Right. They're up 24-0, and then losing a half, Sean. That is an amazing
only
fact.
Only the Texans.
Oh, that's only same old Texans can do that.
And then they trade DeAndre Hopkins.
And they trade DeAndre Hopkins. Next season, they go 4-12. And then obviously we know what happens with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this, and it's a constant trend of, hey, there's reason for hope. There's reason for hope. They're going to take the next step, and they suck again. But when you look at these teams, I mean, think about the names I mentioned. David Carr. Okay, that's a limiting factor. David Carr wasn't very good. Now, you can say whatever you want about his offensive line as far as being a contributing factor to that, but he wasn't very good. Don Capers, not an elite head coach. You fast forward, Gary Kubiak obviously became a Super Bowl champion when he went to the Broncos, but you got Matt Schaub as your quarterback. Yeah. Then Brian Hoyer's your quarterback and Bill O'Brien's your head coach. There's limiting factors there. Deshaun Watson, as good as he was during the time before he became the pervert, he still was the guy that turned over the ball too many times, and Bill O'Brien was still your coach. There's limiting factors all throughout Texans history that are obvious reasons why these hype teams fall short. What's the limiting factor? It's not C.J. Stroud. It's not DeMeco Ryans. I mean, that's why I have more faith in this team actually living up to the hype than these past Texans teams. And we'll obviously have to carry some of this conversation over the other side of the break, but that's why I'm more optimistic this year. Head coach, not a limiting factor. Quarterback, not a limiting factor. I think they pay off on the hype this year, or within the next couple years.
Yeah,
they're not going to win a Super Bowl this year, but you know what I'm saying.
I think that this is like you laid out so well. I think this is probably the first time that you can feel very confident in the Houston Texans' long-term future. Where even with Deshaun, when they had Deshaun Watson, their head coach was still Bill O'Brien, who is a fine coach, but I would not say the city of Houston was very behind him as the leader of this football team. And that's what's different about this team is that no one really in the city has anything bad to say about C.J. Stroud or DeMeco Ryans. So that is the situation where even if you think that, hey, they have a decently tough schedule this year. It's still sophomore season. It's a tough AFC. So even if short term you're not a huge believer, long term you have to think that this team's set up for success, Cam.
I mean, I'm trying to find one thing that could make me think they would regress, and I mean,
it's not a perfect roster. Left guard's a question. Second corner's a question. Those positions aren't long-term limiting factors for me.
And we can maybe go into that on the other side of specifically what could derail this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and carry that over. When we get back here on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5 on the Bullpen, what could hold the Texans back? That when we get back on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5 in 3 minutes.
This is the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios. Here are the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Welcome back in ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. We're going to continue talking Texans here in a second. If you want to get in on that conversation, you can call or text our HRP listener line at 713-780-3776. But first, I want to tease that next segment, same as we had, I believe, 2 weeks ago. We've got a couple of SaberCats, the 13-1 Houston SaberCats, who have locked up a playoff spot. They've locked up a home game in the playoffs, as you might imagine, with that 13-1 record, and have Dallas coming up. So you obviously got to win that game, even if they've already locked up a playoff spot. But we got a couple of the SaberCats that spoke to Jeremy Branham. We will air that next segment. We have Ezekiel Lindenmuth and Ronan Murphy from the SaberCats promoting both, obviously, they're 13-1. I mean, they got to pat yourselves on the back there a little bit. And their playoff game coming up, the game against Dallas as well, along with their Jeremy asked them about their life as a rugby player, which, I mean, I'm going to guess it's, you ready for this dad joke? Rugged. I'm going to say, grade that, Belmer.
That was a D minus.
Oh, come on. That was amazing.
D minus.
Pat me up, Cam.
I'm not going to.
You're not going back. Oh, man. Okay. So anyway, we got a couple SaberCats, Ezekiel Lindenmuth and Ronan Murphy coming up. Spoke with Jeremy Branham. Again, 13-1 SaberCats. Locked up a home playoff game. They got Dallas coming up, so you won't want to miss that interview
team.
next segment. It's a very rugged interview. Jeremy, very rugged. He's got the
He's a rugged guy.
He's a rugged guy. He's got the 5 o'clock shadow going on. It's a rugged interview. Not chopped and screwed, but rugged. And of course, Mount Rushmore +1 will come up at 1:30. But we finished off the last segment talking Texans and kind of following up on my assertion that this Texans team will be different than past Texans teams because they don't have the same limiting factors that have classically held them back throughout the years, whether it be, a poor coach like Bill O'Brien or a poor quarterback like Matt, or a limiting factor in Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub did have a Pro Bowl year, led the league in passing. I can't say he's a poor quarterback, but he was a limiting factor.
It was a limiting factor in 2013.
Yes,
for sure.
yes. Well, and his Liz Frank was a limiting factor in 2011. But Sean, you were asking the question, like, well, if there is something this year that could limit them, like, what would we say it is? I mean, there's some obvious things like left guard, second corner is a concern, but what are you most concerned about this year being a limiting factor?
To me, it's not just the left or the second corner spot. It's also just the question marks you have at safety with
Jimmy Ward
and Jalen Petrie.
They obviously drafted Keith Bullock, or I think it's Bullock, I think.
Yeah, with Bullock, Petrie, and Ward. Ward, can he stay on the field? Petrie, can he kind of recreate some of what he did in his rookie year? And Bullock, just can he play NFL football? I don't know. And Lester, a little bit to a lesser degree. Maybe that's just me buying into 7 mini camp practices where he was awesome, but
mini camp high.
Yeah, exactly.
I know we need sound effects for that.
I do think that we, Lassiter is now just being viewed as like, yep, pin, gonna be an awesome.
You had Will Anderson hyping him up. We did the thing like, does it matter? Coming out. Like,
I just want to say it still is a mini camp, and then with that secondary, and then you look at their schedule. They played Josh Allen. They played Trevor Lawrence twice. The $275 million man. But they get
Burrow.
They get Burrow. They get Love. They get
Mahomes.
Maybe Rodgers. They get Goff, who actually pretty good.
I forget. Is that game here or in Detroit? It's here, right? It should be all right. Goff's way better at home than he is on the road.
You get Dak. You get not Tua, but you get Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Some of these, it's like
so dismissive of Tua. Now Tua Non's going to be after.
Well,
you,
it's
Sean.
tough to go with like all these guys, and then you have Tua, and then Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson.
Hey, Tua Non, those are the thoughts and opinions of @Sean A. Mapes on Twitter. I do not want you coming after me in my mentions.
But it's specifically the matchups that they have with the quarterbacks on the schedule and then you pair that with what's the weakness of this team and specifically of this defense, the pass defense. And so there could be a lot of shootouts in their future. And you mess around, you lose enough of those games. Now you're looking at either being in the wild card or maybe on the outside looking in of a wild card spot.
Now, I would say, Cam, that and Sean's point is certainly valid. It's a concern when you have like Derek Stingley, great. I think
Stingley,
he's a Pro Bowl, possibly even All Pro level corner.
Even Stingley, who I think is absolutely awesome. ... when he's on the field.
Right.
And
exactly.
so even Stingley, who I think is really good, I think he is now made it to the point where you don't go, I can't believe they passed on Sauce Gardner to draft. Nope, he is good enough when he's on the field.
In that conversation.
He just needs to be on the field.
But to Cam, I guess the follow-up to Sean's point is, I mean, they've invested heavily in the pass rush. Obviously, you set the 3rd overall pick a year ago on Will Anderson. You spend money on Danico Autry and Danielle Hunter this offseason. And Danielle Hunter, we're not going to even have time to get to this, but the Pete Prisco's top 100 players in the NFL, Danielle Hunter was the top-rated Texan on that list. So I think you do have to you ready for the coach speak? Complementary football. The complementary football would tell you that, hey, if the pass rush is as good as we think, Cam, then maybe, not that it doesn't matter that your corner's a little weak, but maybe that can make up for some of the some of what you're lacking there at the corner position.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And like to piggyback on Sean, I do think, I guess, safety is a little bit of a concern. But like you just said, they invested heavily in that D line and they got pass rushers. So even though they're playing a bunch of elite quarterbacks this year, they did what they had to do to apply pressure to those quarterbacks. And so I know that we haven't even played a preseason game and we're just going off of like the depth chart, but this team has too much talent for me to just see them pull back like past Texans in the in their history. Like I cannot see them regressing. Like I can't. And like Texans aren't even on my number 1 team, and it's just like I don't see how, unless they get hit by a ton of injuries, which my team is very familiar with, I don't see how that they take a step back.
Yeah, that is something to agree with BMAC's kind of original point of this team doesn't have the absolute like worst case scenario basement that the 2005 Texans did and that the 2013 Texans did. They don't have that, oh my God, if these things go wrong, they might be 2-4. Like that is not happening. I think C.J. Stroud's too good. I think that offense is just as a whole too good. I'm saying as far as to poke a hole in this, where if we're sitting here in January and we're saying how did the Texans miss the playoffs, that to me is right now where
losing shootouts.
Yeah, is where I'd put it at. Where maybe they do go 9-8, and it's because they lose 4 games where they give up 35 points.
Yeah, so I mean, look, if I'm hearing what you're saying, Sean, with these shootouts, you're saying draft some Texans in fantasy football.
Yes.
I mean, Nico Collins, wide receiver 1,
and guys on the Texans schedule.
Yes, and draft the guys on the schedule as well.
Draft some receivers because
I'm for it.
You guys,
well, not for the losses, obviously, but I'm for the high scoring.
But you guys do bring up a point where it is clear that D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio decided, like, they're not dumb. They know that they left cornerback and at least one safety spot kind of as a question mark, but it's because they went out and invested in the front 7. So I do understand that, hey, if they don't have time to run past all these cornerbacks, maybe it's not that bad. You can put anyone at cornerback if you don't have time to throw. So I understand that. I do wonder, though, in games where the pass rush isn't getting there, that's when it gets really scary for the Texans.
Yeah, hashtag complimentary football, Sean. We got to get in all the it's almost July, Sean. We got to get in all the coach speech. That's a Mount Rushmore plus
Joe
1.
Mixon's 3.6 yards per carry. You excited
3.6, and yeah, you run
Hey,
it.
that's
you run
my
the ball,
fantasy starter. Don't you
run
trash
on
him.
second.
You run the ball 4 times at 3.6 per carry, you get a first down, Sean. That's right. Move the chains, pal. All right, so I think we need a Mount Rushmore plus 1 in coach speech coming up for July. And that'll be coming up at 1:30, Mount Rushmore plus 1. But coming up next, again, your 13-1 SaberCats locked up a playoff spot. Got Dallas coming up. We're going to hear from a couple of these SaberCats, Ezekiel Lindemuth and Ronan Murphy. They spoke with Jeremy Branham. That on the bullpen when we return on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
Houston SaberCats fresh off a 28-25 win against Seattle. 13-1. Winners of 8 in a row have clinched home field advantage in the playoffs. We're being joined by Ronan Murphy, back row for the SaberCats, top 10 in tries and tackles played in every match this season. Ironman for the SaberCats, and Easy Lindenmuth, the loose head pro for the SaberCats. Win against Seattle. Let's start there. Whoever wants to answer first, whether it's you, Easy, whether it's you, Ronan. The win against Seattle. Take us through it. How were you able to get it done?
I think it was a great performance from the whole team all around. Obviously, it was huge to clinch the number 1 seed by beating Seattle. And then Coach told us it was going to be like we've been treating this last block of the season kind of like a little playoff stretch. So first we had LA. That was the first test. And then now we had Seattle just passed, and then we have San Diego, and then going to go finish with Dallas. So that's kind of been our mentality going into that stretch, is like just a little mini playoff series block. So
and Seattle, a little bit of a rival too. They're second on the table coming in. This was not necessarily that you have anybody circled, but this is one that you wanted to win, Easy.
Yeah, that's right. I feel like this game was personal in a way. Our coach made it personal at some point, but yeah, they're a good side, and we definitely don't like losing to them. So, but the whole week we're talking about ourselves. We didn't want to focus too much on what they were doing, and we got the job done. So,
what made it personal?
Oh no, that's an in-camp thing.
Okay.
I think also because the past 2 seasons they knocked Houston. This is me and Easy's first season with Houston, but I think the past 2 seasons they've knocked them out of the playoffs. So I think Heineke has I don't know, a soft spot for Seattle.
Yeah,
but
13-1 through 14 matches. What's been the secret sauce? How have you guys been able to do this? Turn it around, have the season that you're having, and the best record right now in Major League Rugby.
I feel like it's a lot to do with off-field stuff. We're pretty tight. We're real connected, and the way we train, the way we get along with everyone in the team, the people we welcome in. There's no egos. Everyone's on the same level, same page, and I think that's gone a long way.
Yeah, I also think the way Coach Heineke makes sure we keep it about ourselves. So we're not really focused on what other teams are doing, what's going on around the league. We just like to look inwards at ourselves, what we can do better week to week, and then that's what we go out and do on the practice field and then on the games.
Looking at the positions you guys play, look, I'm a casual. I'm going to admit it. Ronan, back row. What does a back row do? I have a little bit of an idea.
So if for anybody who watches football out there, it's kind of like a linebacker type position. So we're kind of supposed to make majority of the tackles for the team, and then we're also supposed to be pretty good over the ball and creating turnovers. That's one of the main jobs, and then also just a hard ball carrier. So those are the 3, probably I'd say, pillars of being a back row. So yeah, if you're looking if you watch football, I'd say it's most similar to a linebacker.
Sounds like a lot of violence.
Yeah,
very physical.
There's nowhere to escape violence on the rugby field.
Easy, this one caught me off guard. I've heard of back row. I've never heard of a loose head prop. What is a loose head prop?
A loose head prop. Well, we're going to be the most furious on the field. We make the second most tackles, but the biggest. We're the best looking, and we're generally the heaviest. So we hold down a scrum, if you know what a scrum is.
Yeah, I do. I'm never involved in them. Usually they put the good looking people on TV, not radio. They're easy. Ronan Murphy, Easy Lindenmuth joining us on the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5. Ronan, how much has former SaberCat Danny Barrett meant to your career?
Obviously, Danny's been a huge inspiration for me ever since I was young. He went to the same high school as me, and then he actually turned to the dark side and went to my rival college, Cal Berkeley. But even still, he's been a mentor for me. Before coming to Houston, I gave him a call just to see what his thoughts on the program were. He had nothing but good things to say. So then after that, I made the decision pretty easy to want to come to Houston. So.
You're a St. Mary's guy. You gave Cal a little bit of heck there. You got a couple of Cal teammates, too. How much grief do y'all give each other?
I've never spoken to him. No, I'm just kidding. No, they're good guys. Obviously, it was a pretty big rivalry back when we were in school, but it's all love now. At the end of the day, we're teammates. It's behind us, but I still like to give them some stuff at the end of the day.
Some stuff.
You've done this before. Easy, you played for the Samoa national team, eligible to play for the USA Eagles next year. Is the desire there? And if so, why?
Yeah, it's definitely there. I've just got to figure out which way I want to go. Samoa's got an end of year tour coming up, and I could potentially be there. I could potentially stay, keep my doors open. And yeah, USA Eagles is definitely a door or an option for me.
Lauren tipped me off that you lead the team in chant and clap. What does that sound look like?
What does it look like?
Or sound?
Yep. Hey, hey.
Oh.
Yeah, we do that. We kind of use that as a reset button for us. If you come to our games, you'll notice that we do that in our huddles. We do that after meetings. It's kind of like, that's done, next job.
Okay, very good. You know, we're seeing the sport grow and grow, and you guys having a tremendous amount of success. I know that you've built a good following here in Houston. American fans are starting to get a hang of it, too. American fans that go for the first time, what do you think they notice, and what is something that can draw in more American fans?
I feel like a lot of short shorts and good-looking guys running around the field. And it's a pretty physical game and exciting to watch. I feel like it's new here in America. So everyone likes new things, and yeah, it's good sport, I would say.
Yeah, I would just say coming after the games, I think also what Houston does well is we make it pretty entertaining for just like the casual fan. Like the commentators do a good job of explaining things. Like there's also other things going on before and after the game, fireworks and stuff, and all the things that I've heard from the people who come onto the field after the game is like, wow, those hits were huge. So like I think that's one thing that like the American sports fan base can get behind is just like the physicality of it all.
I was hooked with pregame drinks. I was there. Say less. You mentioned the physical nature of the game. Everybody knows that, even if they don't keep up with the sport, how physical rugby can be. What is the worst injury that you've had?
The worst injury I've had, probably MCL grade 3. It took me about 6 months, but I've been pretty fortunate with my career.
Yeah,
I haven't had anything too serious.
Yeah, for me it was I broke my ankle and then like tore all the ligaments in my ankle. So I think it was like 9 months recovery or at post surgery. Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2020, so 4 years ago. I've been able to stay pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Every match so far this year. 13-1, Houston SaberCats, winners of 8 in a row. They've clinched home field advantage. 2 more matches left in the regular season. I know playoffs on the mind. You've already clinched the playoff spot. You've clinched the home field advantage. What needs to be done to lift the trophy when it's all said and done?
I think, like I was saying earlier, it's just focusing on us. So when we get to work every day, it's just thinking, going through film, looking at what we could have done better, what areas we need to improve, and then just getting better at the things that we're doing dominant right now. So just at the end of the day, just looking in the mirror and seeing what we could do better.
Summed it up nicely.
Perfect.
Ronan Murphy, Easy Lindenmuth, the Houston SaberCats 13-1. Get out to SaberCats Stadium. A final regular season matchup coming up on June 29th against the hated Dallas Jackals, and then playoffs coming up in July. Guys, thanks so much. Best of luck the rest of the year.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
San Diego on Sunday, back home for the regular season finale against the hated Dallas Jackals, the Texas rival matchup on June 29th. This will serve as fan appreciation nights. You don't want to miss out. HoustonSaberCats.com to get your tickets. Use promo code ESPN20 on checkout for the ESPN discount. HoustonSaberCats.com to get those tickets now. More of the Bullpen coming up next on ESPN 97.5 and ESPN 92.5.
Broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, it's the Bullpen on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. Thanks to Jeremy Branham there for the conversation with the Houston SaberCats. Again, you're 13-1. Houston SaberCats taking on Dallas coming up and have a home playoff game locked up that'll be happening next month after the international break. So we will obviously get some more from the SaberCats in following weeks, and make sure you go out there and check out a game, especially a playoff game or Dallas. Are you kidding me? You got to check that out. But right now, we debuted this a few weeks ago, and it is now Cam's turn to ask Sean, myself, and Johnny Belmer behind the glass his big question of the week, or big questions, I guess I should say, of the week. Cam, take it away.
Thank you very much, B-Mac. So my first question I present, and please go on this ride with me. You're all familiar with Men in Black?
Yes.
Of course.
Terrific, great. So my question is, you are the character, and I believe it's a pawn shop in the first movie where Will Smith busts in, pow, blam, shoots your head off. Now, this character's head grew back normally. However, it started really small. So I wonder, and I question, would you rather, if you got your head blasted off by Will Smith?
Johnny's very concerned
Okay,
right
so
now.
now I am
can
Tony
read
Shalhoub,
I read the
who runs a
concern.
pawn shop. Okay.
Okay, so hold on. I run a pawn shop.
You're Tony Shalhoub.
Yes.
I'm Tony Shalhoub. My head's been shut off.
Yes.
Continue.
Would you rather it grow back but stay tiny like originally, like a very tiny head, or two big ass heads grow back? You have to pick.
Okay, so
Okay,
you get
so-
two heads that are normal size or two heads that are bigger than normal?
We can go normal size.
Okay, so normal heads, normal size, but two of them
Yes.
are
So-
one small, tiny head.
Wasn't there another in my Men in Black character who had two heads?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would. I think I'm going two heads here. I mean, strictly as a guy who likes to eat, I can. Do I want tacos or a burger? Both. I got two mouths now. I can eat. Johnny's not in his head. I think Johnny's in agreement.
He took my point. Absolutely. Yep.
I like how that's.
Johnny and I think alike on this. So
Yeah.
Lock it in. I am definitely going two heads here, Cam.
Small head's tough. I'm
Like,
trying to make.
what's the selling point
Yeah,
of
I'm
small
trying to make
head?
the case on small head, and there's really not one. Other than maybe I'm wrong, but two heads is weird. Two heads, people definitely look at you like you have two heads. That is a saying for a reason,
Yes.
I guess. But tiny head, like you're stuck running that pawn shop forever, or going to the circus, basically. If you have a tiny, I guess if you have two heads is weird, guys. Like you guys are just going,
They're both weird. You don't look at a
They're
person with a
both
tiny head and go, "Oh, that's normal."
And your
No,
head.
no,
weird.
I'm saying you're a freak show if you have a tiny head. But
Well, you're a freak. Well, I'm
You're
saying you're a
also-
freak show either way.
Your
So-
heads could argue with each other, which might get very annoying.
Oh,
With a
that-
tiny,
Okay.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
good question. Is it my brain and my sentience is in? Basically, am I?
I think it's a shared
Am I
conscience.
sharing my body?
Yeah,
with
it's a shared conscience.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's two
It's two
heads,
separate brains, but they're in sync, right?
and they're
Yes.
doing.
I think we're agreeing.
They're
there.
doing the same amount that All Reliable up here is doing.
Yes. You're not getting double the brain power. I
Or
would
just
think.
someone else. Like you're just all of a sudden I have a roommate now. Like that's what I want to avoid.
Who wants that?
That's just what I want to avoid. Because someone mentioned they get in an argument. I wouldn't get in an argument with myself.
with
Well,
a tiny
maybe.
head, you would never have to worry about getting stuck. Like
No,
a
no,
fence or a ladder case.
Yeah.
How many? Well,
I don't know.
And you won't
why are
stretch
you
your
sticking
shirts
your head
out?
through the ladder, Cam?
I didn't.
Yeah. No,
I saw it.
I'm gonna go two heads because I have a hard time finding the positives. Positives in a tiny one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hawk 2, exactly. Cam, you got I can't get enough of that right now. Johnny, as many times as you want to hit that, I am fine with it. Cam, you didn't give your opinion here. Are you going one small tiny head or the?
Yeah. Is there a case for tiny head?
Yeah, because Sean, and I are all in agreement. We're going two heads here.
I'm
you gonna make the case for small head?
I'm gonna go little head because this may come as a shock to you guys, but I'm not very tall, so I
Short
think
king.
yeah, I think
Short
a
king.
tiny head would fit
It-
me
it-
better.
Yeah,
It's
you know
more
what?
proportionate to your body.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
it would be weird if you had two normal sized heads on
Yeah,
your
that
body.
I would look like
That
I
is
would,
more. Yeah, 2 heads would be a lot of weight for your little frame to carry.
Exactly. I feel like I would look like the little
Yeah.
creature from Monsters Inc. Scully or Sully, like that.
I don't know.
That big ass head on that little body. Like I don't think that would work
Yeah.
for me very well.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that.
I,
Works.
I think Belmer would look good with 2 heads.
Yeah.
Oh well, thank you.
I think I could. Yeah.
I think you could support
I think
it.
you could. I think you could pull that off.
Yeah, you'd pull it off. Oh, you could wear 2 different hats.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another
What
reason.
hat? What hat am
Nice.
I
There you
wearing?
go.
Yeah. Much easier decision now.
You could also have 2 different kinds of facial hair.
If you wanted,
Oh.
You can
if
go
you wanted to
crazy.
try
You-
out like
no,
a new,
the world's your oyster.
if you
there.
want to try out a new haircut, you could try one out. You could have
Yeah.
2 different haircuts.
One,
Try it
actually,
out.
one
see
head
what
is
looks
literally
good.
Actually-
a guinea pig. You just try things on it.
I think
Yeah.
we're onto something.
Actually,
Wow.
would you rather have 2 normal sized heads or your current 1 normal head?
Oh,
I'll stick with what I got if I don't have to change.
Okay. Okay.
You know?
am I the only one in the world with 2 heads if I do this?
I don't know if there's a person right now with 2 heads. There might be someone.
I'm
out
sure
there
there
right now
is
with
somewhere.
2 heads.
Yeah.
Can we
I think
get
I'm going 2
research on
heads.
that?
I'm unique. I'm on every talk show. You guys have watched South Park, like the freak shows
I've not
circuit.
watched South
Oh, you,
Park.
you never watched? Oh, that's you're I always. Not that I forget that you're.
You want to go on the freak show
You,
circuit?
you
B-Man?
talking about when Butters has the blah 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 on his chin? I don't know if I could say the word.
So there
But-
is a humans.
Why'd you say humans with a question mark?
Well, 'cause
they're
it's-
still humans if they have 2 heads.
It's TV stars Abby and Brittany Hensel, who have 2 heads and joined at 1 torso, actually got married in 2021.
Oh, conjoined twins. Okay, that's. I mean, is that? That's. I think that's,
That's
a little
a
different.
little
That's a little different than
Well,
us
let's
saying
see how
just 2
conjoined
heads.
they
I
are.
think it's the
Let's see how
closest.
conjoined they are.
Oh, that's
This-
yeah, right there. See,
Okay.
that-
Yeah, that is
I've-
2 heads.
I've
That
seen
is
those-
2
that's
heads.
that's pretty two-headed.
Okay, I'm keeping the one I have. Yeah, I'm keeping the one I
Yeah,
have.
because it's just sideways. Like,
It's just sideways. Like if you gave me 2 necks, then I think I'm with it. But the picture we saw there from the twins, Hawk Tua to you as well. I walked right. This whole segment in question is
a lot of
is,
head talk.
That's what you said.
I think there's a Mount Rushmore +1 of the best heads coming up. But when looking at that picture, like the other head is like growing. This is getting. I don't know. Is this getting gross? I don't know. I'm going with it
Definitely,
anyway.
definitely
It's Saturday.
the Google images.
It's Saturday,
is pretty
right?
Gross.
I don't.
I want to
don't
be respectful, but I don't like what I'm seeing.
I
on Cam's
don't
computer.
recommend it. I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't. All respect, due respect to the twins. I don't recommend
Yeah.
Google images right
2
now.
heads is tough.
But if you gave me 2 necks, I'm down with 2 heads. Thank you. But I don't want 1 head growing out of my neck, like 1 normal head and then another head growing out of my neck, the side of my neck.
Oh, like
I'd
Michael,
be out there.
like when Michael Scott did that character and he put the little head on his shoulder.
Yeah, no, I don't
Yeah.
want that. I don't want
Well,
that.
I mean, you could. I mean, Davis Mills has enough neck; he could do that.
Wow.
A transplant.
Oh, if you give me 2 Davis Mills necks with 2 heads,
Okay.
I am so down.
Oh my.
All right.
What
I don't know.
do
I don't
you-
know what the transition here is, fellas.
What do you
We're
think
just
your
gonna sit-
family would say?
We're just gonna sit in this awkwardness until
What do you
Cam
think your-
asks us another question.
What would your family say if you just came home 2 necks?
Like, well, you
Honey?
made some. I see you made some life decisions. We love you and support you. We do wonder why you've done this, though.
I think your kid would cry.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I've seen videos online where when a dad who's had a beard, his kid's whole life shaves his beard and her kids cry.
I have.
I
thought
can't
about that.
imagine if dad came home with 2
Yeah,
heads
'cause
or a
I've-
shrunken head. Honestly.
I've had this beard for like a decade, pretty much full
Yeah.
beard. Obviously, my kid's about to turn 3, so her whole life. I have thought about shaving it. I was like, man, she's not going to recognize me for a few days. Like, who
You
the
should
F
do
is
it.
that
now,
guy?
now imagine
do
if
it
you had
for real.
2 heads.
Yeah, 2 heads. Yeah, I don't know. All right, Cam, I don't know how we transition, Cam. Let's ask us another question.
I do have one.
Is this
Okay.
head related?
Is there a head
Is
talk
this
here?
head related?
Damn it. Yes, actually.
Wow.
All right. So
Head's been on the brain.
Is it
recently-
Men in Black? Men in Black
No.
related?
Well,
Okay, damn.
no.
Maybe.
No.
Did Tommy Lee Jones do something recently?
Having to think about it's weird.
So there is a new sport on the rise. I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but I know it requires slapping the hell out of somebody in the face. Like slap. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Film or
yeah.
slap.
They put that on TNT or TBS
Yeah.
for a
Yeah,
while. Yeah,
ultimate slap.
Oh,
fighting.
the ultimate slap thing?
Ultimate
Yeah. Oh, okay.
slap fighting.
Yeah.
or
right.
Slap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slap hands.
Shrunken Head would be good for that.
So
Less surface area to hit.
would you participate in the slap? Would you rather participate in the slap? I don't know, face slap championship.
Because it's not slap boxing. It is you are
No,
you're
just
just
getting
standing
slapped
there
in the
taking it.
face.
I like face slap championship.
Yeah, face
Okay.
slap
Slap
championship.
championship.
Or
yeah, trademark that.
would you rather go
FFC.
5 minutes in the ring with Mike Tyson?
Now or his prime?
Current Mike Tyson.
Because
Current Mike Tyson
he's having heart
still
problems
scares
now.
the hell out
I
of
don't,
me.
I don't
I'm
know,
sorry.
man. I think I'm going Mike Tyson.
Yeah, give me Tyson.
No.
Yeah, well,
Tyson.
one, he's having heart problems, so
Oh,
maybe he
oh.
doesn't hit as hard. Thoughts and prayers
Just
to Mike
gas him out.
Tyson. Yeah, thoughts and
It's
prayers.
5 minutes though. I mean that. I mean
Yeah,
like,
but
that's like
5 minutes is
over
a
a
long
round.
time for a person with heart problems.
it's
But
a
it's
long
still
time.
Mike Tyson.
That's a long time for somebody who's in shape
what
to do
comes
some
along
damage.
with me doing that with Mike Tyson? Money.
He didn't say anything about
You
money.
get money when you get slapped in the face in these
Yeah,
It's
that's
gonna,
true.
it's gonna turn into some money. Well, yeah, the face. I guess you could maybe get some money out of face slapping too.
People have legitimately been knocked out in those
Yeah.
Oh, I
slap
know.
things.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I know.
It is brutal, especially the slow motion videos.
If I'm gonna
Oh,
get
I have some
knocked out,
bad news for what Mike
okay,
Tyson's done to
all right.
people.
Here's the test. Here's the test. Okay, there's 4 of us in this room. I don't know the answer to this. Give me the name of one single face slapping championship competitor. One name. Just one between the 4 of us. Exactly. At least if I'm getting hit by Mike Tyson, it makes headlines. No one knows. If I'm going to get knocked out, I want to get knocked out by Mike effing
Yeah.
Tyson,
Not
some jabroni I've never heard of.
Name someone Mike Tyson's fought.
Michael Spinks,
Got me.
Vander Holyfield.
David Zalewski.
You just looked it up, Cam. Come on, you can't tell me that you knew that already.
I'm still sticking with my answer. I'm going slapping.
Sean, did you give an official answer?
I think I'd do Tyson.
Yeah,
Kind of think I could beat him.
heart problems, baby.
You-
What
you-
Sean?
Y'all are
come on, what,
crazy.
Cam?
He's 30 years older than me.
Have y'all seen his recent training videos?
I know.
though?
I
Those
know.
videos
It's
are
insane.
sped up. Those videos are sped up, and guess what?
You
What
think
happened?
so?
What happened 2 weeks after those videos got filmed?
He got
had
his
to pull
fight
out of
mo-
a fight
he got
'cause
his
has
fight
heart problems.
What did he? What it was an ulcer or something?
Dude, who cares? He's walking with a cane. Like, what are we talking about?
I mean,
I actually don't. Well, I would have myself as an underdog against Tyson.
I would hope so.
I don't think it's impossible that I.
Whoa!
that I win.
Hold on. See, I was just talking about being famous because I'm taking a punch from Mike Tyson versus some guy I've never heard of. You're talking about, Sean just broke his microphone. Well, we only got 40 minutes left in the show.
I did this to a piece of metal. Imagine what I'd do to Mike Tyson.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
You're not that guy, Sean. All right,
No.
all right. Let's move on to some leftovers here. Sean, you, Paul, and Joe talked about this on the Killer G's on. Was that when's Thursday? It was Thursday.
Sometime this week.
Yeah, when we're out at Gentle Ben Tasting Room, and I had already put it in the rundown for this show, and I enjoyed it. Y'all's conversation. I was also a couple of bourbon lemonades into the show, so I was
Nice.
feeling it. I was having a good time out there at the Gentle Ben Tasting Room. Although enjoy the sip, not the burn. Not you'll love what's not in it. I'm trying to get all the taglines
That's
in
what
there
I've
for
heard.
Gentle Ben.
That's what I've heard.
But so Cam hasn't heard the story. Sean and I have. Cam, you've heard of the NBA, right?
yes.
You've heard of the NBA. Do you know what the NBA stands for, Cam?
National Basketball Association.
That is one
That's
interpretation.
one of 'em,
That's
yeah.
that's one interpretation. Have you heard of a league, Cam, called Nothing But Ass?
I have now.
Oh, Johnny, well done, well
Wow.
done. So there is a
Watch this at work.
there's a competitive basketball league that's paying money to people in this called Nuttin, no G on the end, no G on it, Nuttin, but 2 T's and then As with Z's. Okay, so you want to take a guess, Cam, as to what this is?
So I didn't know the name of
Family
it, but
show.
I had seen this. I had heard about this video in sports before.
Okay. All right.
So,
I
yes,
know,
I
know a
am-
friend who watched it who
Yeah.
told me about it.
I can't help but
Okay.
get put on ESPN the Ocho.
Uh-huh. The Ocho.
But yes, I am very familiar with this
Nothing but
this
ass.
sport. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just didn't know that was the name of it.
yeah, the
I didn't
greatest
know
part.
it had a name.
the
I also
greatest-
didn't know it was competitive either.
Yeah, apparently
Very.
like 4 teams can make $10,000.
Who's keeping
each.
score?
Not me. Yeah. Anyway, but I think the greatest part of the story, I don't know if you heard this part, Cam and John, but so there's a basketball league, and as you might expect from the name Nothing But As, this is what it sounds like. This is women of a voluptuous shape playing basketball in a thong, okay? And so they booked this event at a. Where do you think they booked this event at? You know, is this at a Toyota Center? Is this at an NBA arena? Is this at
Toyota
a
Center.
college? Where do you
Pretty
think you
big.
booked this event at, Cam? Take a guess.
Lakewood Church.
Actually,
The Summit?
that's actually
Yeah.
yeah, the Summit. Yeah, that actually might be a little bit worse than what they did. They booked it at a New Jersey high school. And
Oh.
the organizers
Oh.
how they pull this off, you might ask. I'm glad you asked, Cam. I'm going to tell you. So they pulled this off by telling the high school that this is a quote unquote community basketball event, and they got away with it initially.
That's true.
It was booked.
It is a community basketball.
The community of people who like as, and
Nothing but it.
nothing but as. But the ruse go or the jig was up when the high school caught wind of what was actually going on because the organizers put out a video of women playing basketball in thongs, like, come out and see nothing but ass at the New Jersey whatever high school. And the high school saw it and canceled it.
I mean, that's really upsetting that these ladies
Cancel culture, right?
I
Am
know.
I
were
right, Sean?
they were
Yeah.
trying to bring people together, create some
It's a
sort of
community event.
and you
Bring
know
it together.
it's such a travesty to be
It
honest.
is.
Really.
You want to guess what ticket prices cost for this, Cam?
Oof. I'm gonna
Well,
go.
oh no, hold on. Let me back it up. What would you pay to go to see nothing but ass? Let's see if this fits what the ticket prices are.
Is there a buffet there?
Normally, these type of places has a buffet.
Yep.
That's what can't
Complimentary. Okay,
Try
go. All right.
the breakfast tacos.
You know what?
What would you pay, Cam?
I enjoy going out and doing and
Community
and
events.
participating in new things. So I would drop a 50.
Well, good news. You can get in. That is the
What?
lowest entry price.
That's the
$50
lowest?
That's $50 gets you in.
General admission.
General admission, standing room only.
I mean, that's about
if
what
you
you're
will.
going to spend at some of these other finer establishments on the evenings.
Sure. $50 gets you in. $100 for VIP seats. $500 for courtside.
What does
Cam.
VIP?
entail?
If you got to ask, you can't afford it, Cam.
How long is the song?
All right. We are really going to get canceled. Let's get out. All right. ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. Back on the, yes, Hawk Tula to you, sir, as well. When we get back on the other side of the break, ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. If we're still allowed to do radio, it'll be time for Mount Rushmore Plus One. Welcome in, Houston, to the best part of your weekend. Let me talk to you, Sean. We got Mount Rushmore. I've been wanting to do that every week. I honestly, I just fit that in. Yeah. Shout out to Allie Knight. Mount Rushmore Plus One is time for the award-winning, groundbreaking segment, the segment that changed the sports radio landscape forever. We got our Mount Rushmore Plus Ones this week. Of course, main event Mapes is going to main event. He's going last. I mean, it's in the name. I can't put main event Mapes in the leadoff spot. I couldn't do it.
That's true.
So, Cam, you want to volunteer to go first, or shall I?
I'll go first.
All right.
So I decided to go with my Mount Rushmore of you could argue worst or best names in professional sports.
Okay.
So to
all time?
Huh? All time.
Okay.
All time. So to start, we have our guy Barcavius Mingo.
That's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
You know what that
It's a
name
good start.
sounds like? That sounds like
LSU
the names
Tiger.
that get auto-generated in Madden when you get like into year 20.
Yeah.
It's like, how do they come up with this name?
I believe
Because of Barkevius Mingo.
I mean, didn't he play at LSU, right?
Yeah,
LSU, and then like the
LSU,
Browns.
played for the
Cleveland,
Browns, the
yeah.
Texans briefly.
Also, I think he played for the Browns too. The next one is Clinton Dix.
Yeah.
I know he
Wait.
played for the Packers.
Say his the first name again.
Clinton Dix.
That's a good name.
That's
a good name.
for those out there. HA.
Yes, yeah.
You know, I didn't put him on the list, but because I'm not sure this is his actual name, but there was a player for University of Houston's men's basketball team back in the day who went by Chicken Knowles. I
don't think Chicken was his actual.
I don't think
that's
it
a
was,
nickname.
but it was like literally everybody just called him Chicken Knowles. But
Mama named him Chicken. I'm gonna call him Chicken.
so
Damn right, Sean.
our third one is Dick Pole, Mr. Dick Pole,
Come again.
former Chicago Cubs pitcher. Dick Pole. Dick Pole is his name. Followed by you already saw
Belmer, you got any
no
drops that might
commentary
go
on
with?
that?
I don't know. There might be a drop that goes with what was the name again, Cam?
Dick Pole. You already saw this one because I was Googling.
Yes. And I've heard of this person.
Former NASCAR driver, Dick Trickle. Mr. Dick Trickle. Who unfortunately passed
I could
away
be
in
40.
2013.
All
R.I.P.
right. Thoughts and prayers. Damn.
R.I.P.
Way to bring the show down, Cam.
One of the greats.
One of the greats.
We're honoring him.
Pour one out for Dick Trickle.
My last one, and this is probably my personal favorite, Mr. Fairhooker. Fairhooker.
What does Fairhooker do?
He was a former. Also, funny how the Cleveland Browns have all this rich history of good names. He was a
And
former
then they brought in
Cleveland
the
Browns
pervert.
player.
That's not good.
So
That's not good.
Dick Trickle, Barcavius Mingo, Dick Pole, Clinton Dix, and Fairhooker. Great names.
Fairhooker's the worst one.
Fairhooker. Wait. Hooker was a football player.
He was
There's also Malik Hooker. First name
Yes.
not as funny, but another hooker.
another hooker.
Another hooker.
First
Yeah.
name
If it runs in
not
the family.
Another hooker. Yeah.
You're right. First name
Fa-
is not as funny.
Family of hookers.
Why, if you know your last name is Hooker, would you name your child Fair?
Better than unfair.
Overpriced. You don't want to name the kid
Overpriced.
overpriced. Yeah, you don't want to do that. That'd be worse.
Royal Hooker.
Dirty.
Oh, all right. Stop button. I don't.
No, I just said the word dirty.
Okay. Compared to last segment, completely in bounds. Yes. So we're fine. All right.
Yeah, that's a career choice for.
Mount Rushmore plus one for me this week. Things Bill Belichick will have to explain to his granddaughter-age girlfriend. Things that there's an age gap there, significant one.
Yeah. For
Bill
those
Belichick is what, mid-70s. His girlfriend's 25,
24, I think.
24.
24. She's 24.
And obviously, there are things in both of them I could see what they see. Obviously, Bill Belichick has money, and she's attractive. She's attractive. So, but there's an age gap. So I gotta imagine, like,
There is.
I have a hard time even like when we get interns in, like I don't know what these people are like. I have. As a 40-year-old man, someone's coming as 21. I have no idea how to talk to them. It's like, other than like basic ass human level stuff, like I don't know what you're into. Like it's complete.
Yeah.
But this man's got like a 50-year age
What
difference.
music are you listening to?
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
but we can't assume she's after money either. She could just
What?
be. She could just be after the senior discount and skipping line.
Yeah.
Like Luby's.
Yeah.
She gets to cut everybody at Luby's.
She's
at
really into
4:30 in
getting
the
the Luann
afternoon.
platter.
Yeah.
That's what she's after.
Hey,
she's
that-
after the
that
Luann
goes
platter.
hard.
Yeah.
the Jello.
You know what though? The Luann platter, fried fish, mac and cheese. Yeah, hell yeah.
Don't
There's
sleep
worse
on
meals.
Luby's.
There's worse meals you can have while the sun's still up.
You know some Luby's have bars now
Yeah, there was one
by the Galleria.
Well, there was one on Post Oak. It's no longer there.
Yeah.
It was one of the ones that got closed when they hit bankruptcy or whatever. But the one there on Post Oak was actually pretty big. It was for Luby's. It was nice. But anyway, now that, we're talking about Luby's and 70-year-old men. So anyway, my Mount Rushmore +1 things Bill Belichick will have to explain to his granddaughter-age girlfriend. Be kind, rewind. Like I don't think this girl's gonna have, like, if you tell this girl be kind, rewind, blank stare. She has no idea what this is. She has no idea what that means. She's never seen a VCR. She doesn't know how to use it. I'm not even convinced Sean knows how to use a VCR.
My grandparents had a VCR
okay.
growing up.
All right, okay.
Is this a toaster?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There are great videos out there of, like, I guess Gen Zers, like, showing them like a cassette player, VCR. It's just like, God, I feel old seeing them have no idea what to do with it. A floppy disk. Anyway, number 2 on the list, the idea that getting a phone call while you're surfing the internet will knock you off the internet. She's going to have no idea what's going on there with dial-up internet. Sean,
do you think
thoughts?
Do you think
you're about the same age as this woman, so I guess I could kind of test some of this out on you.
Yeah.
You're
close. 4 years older. Yeah, no, I've never had dial-up.
Yeah,
or at least I don't remember my parents ever have dial-up.
For the people in their 20s and younger, like if you, like, my parents had to invest in getting a second phone line because we had dial-up internet, and if someone called you on the home phone while you're trying to look up, whatever on the internet, boom, knocked off, connection disconnected. So yeah, I think he's gonna have to explain that to his girlfriend. Yeah, AOL, exactly. The idea that you could actually go and eat at Pizza Hut as a sit-down restaurant. That was a thing when I was a kid. She's going to have no idea. Pizza Hut, to her, is only delivery. But they used to actually have, like, these big, like, actual sit-down restaurants that you could go and eat at. But, like, why? Now that I think about it in hindsight. Yeah, it had red roof.
It looked like a hut. Like
it looked like a hut. Yeah. So you could. I did that as a kid. I went to Pizza Hut and ate. Now I think about it, it's actually quite sad because it's cheap pizza. It's like, just eat it at home.
Does it taste better in person sitting down
I thought
or
it
delivery?
did, but that might just be nostalgia.
It's also because you don't have to drive 15 minutes. Like, you're getting it fresh out the oven.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You're not sitting in a car seat.
While some pothead can't find how to get to your house and it gets cold. Yeah, exactly. Number 4, postcards. No idea. She's gonna have no idea what postcard. Why would we send this? I could just text someone.
I forgot about those.
Like, the postcard industry, completely dead, right? It's got to be completely
direct inverse line with Instagram. It's
dead.
just
Yes.
Like,
yes.
what's the point of it?
And I don't know which one to go with next. I have one more, and I could go all. I mean, I mentioned floppy disk. I didn't even think to put that on there, but floppy disk, cassette players. I don't think she's gonna have any ideas what those are. But beepers.
Yes.
I like, the only reason she would know what a beeper is she's watched The Wire. That's the only way she's gonna assume that you only have one for.
You think this 24-year-old watched The Wire?
Okay. Also on the list, explain to her what The Wire is.
The Wire.
Yes. So they used to sell drugs in Baltimore. Well, they still sell drugs in Baltimore, but they made a show about it. So those are my things that Bill Belichick's going to have to explain to his granddaughter age girlfriend.
Those things also all seem like things Bill Belichick would still have in his everyday life.
I definitely see him wearing a beeper and
maybe except for a Pizza Hut.
Yeah, he doesn't go and eat at Pizza Hut, but I think the other ones, he.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I don't think he has to explain any of this. And then I thought, well, maybe he does if he still has, like, the VCR or whatever at his house. He still walks around with a beeper at home.
Yeah. Our main event Mapes. So it looks like we got we don't have enough time to get to Johnny here. So main event Mapes, take it away. Your Mount Rushmore +1.
In honor of today being my brother's 18th birthday, I have the Mount Rushmore +1 of birthday months. Because I think June sucks.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, June's not going to be on here.
So obviously, let's. I know your birthday's in April, so it's probably gonna make the list. But no one else tell Sean what our birthday months are. Let's see if we made the list.
Let's see if he
stumble
onto it.
Us. Yeah.
All right. This one, leading off, is September. I think is a great one.
There we go.
Yeah, you're still number 5. So don't get too excited.
He said leading off, Sean.
I don't order them really. I just
leading off, the one he wanted to mention first.
And
my birthday
for what
month.
reason?
Because and
football
this
season.
this will be a lot of them. Is when you care most about your birthday is when you're a child, and so a lot of these are going to revolve around the school calendar, and because I always felt bad for like in June the kids that had summer birthdays
Sure.
because they
Ah,
just
that's-
didn't
yeah.
have a birthday.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, you do not have a birthday. And so September, just getting back to school, obviously great for athletics. If you're a September birthday, you're on the early side, the cutoff for your grade. So probably
Wow.
making varsity.
Put a lot of thought into this September. Respect.
Hey, I do my homework. I definitely did not do this on the drive over here. Thinking of months. Number 2, March.
Okay.
Solid.
Spring
Sure.
break's right in the middle of there.
Yeah.
Spring break and then a birthday. You're basically not going to school.
Pretty nice weather.
That
Yeah,
is-
weather
that is
definitely plays a factor.
a consideration. I said summer birthdays suck, and maybe this is mostly it's mostly because there's a lot of worse months to have birthdays. I put July in there because
Really, it's hot as hell.
as far as a summer birthday though, I think July works because it is as far away as you can get from Christmas. Which spoiler alert, December will not be on this list because
Yeah.
a December
I had
birthday
I had a
stinks.
friend growing up whose birthday was on Christmas. Like, that's got to be the worst.
Oh, my cousin's
was
is
he
the
a
day
carpenter?
the day after, the day before, so he never got.
No, but his
very many
friends betrayed him.
presents.
And then he showed up like 3 days later.
Wow.
It was real awkward for everyone when he came back. Anyway.
That might be the dumbest old joke I told.
He had a great trick for water, though. It was amazing. Amazing.
He was a great wedding guest.
You nailed that one.
No open bar.
Aw.
No open bar. My ass.
Yeah, water's good. Wink. Number 4, October. I feel like October's just a solid.
October might be
birthday.
my favorite month.
It's up there for me too.
Yeah, it's great. I love October.
A great month, just in all aspects. Weather again, you're getting pretty good weather.
Spooky season, baby.
Spooky season. You're Scorpio. That's awesome. And
I
lastly,
am.
there you go. And lastly, got to do it. April. Come on.
Yeah, Homer. That was the Homer pick.
Well, okay. Can I make the case for it?
okay, go ahead.
Taking it back to school. You're basically, because my birthday's April 23rd.
Right.
You're really playing out the string
You're coasting.
of the
Yeah, you're
school
coasting.
year. You throw in a birthday party. Normally it was around field day too.
Mm.
You
Oh,
really,
yeah.
it's really just it's a little bit of the intro course into my summer life when I
Okay,
was
so your
in
summer
6th grade.
started on April 23rd, basically.
more or less.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's been a long summer.
It is a very long summer.
All right, so he hit mine right away. Cam, John, did he hit your birthday?
Yeah, what's your
months?
birthday?
I'm in August.
Oh,
Birthday. I wasn't
yeah.
gonna make the list. Yeah.
Yeah,
hot as hell.
That's a tough one.
It's tough.
Probably before school starts.
No, I mean 3 years. 3 years growing up, school started on my birthday.
Oh,
the worst.
that
Yeah.
sucks.
That's
That
why it's not
sucks.
on.
'Cause
That's why it's not on the
That's
list.
so early that you can't even have the birthday party. That basically takes up half a day of school. Like you're just
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, and guess how many times my parents let me stay home on the first day of school for my birthday?
Zero.
Zero.
Yeah.
Ha!
What-
Sucker.
What's your birthday, Mom?
I was the day off. I'm November 1st.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think
November's solid.
that-
November's solid.
especially early November. I was wanting to avoid Christmas.
Especially
at
it's
all
the day after Halloween. You're like as
Yeah,
a
that's
kid, you
actually-
got the candy high,
that's
and
actually
Well,
then
okay,
boom,
so-
birthday.
Kind of, but
Or
at the
does
same time,
Halloween
it
step
was
on it?
hard. Halloween steps on my birthday
Oh.
a lot because everybody wants to go out for the 31st.
They don't want to go out the next day.
And then they're
Yeah.
hungover the next day. So
Right.
usually I have to do my birthday celebration the night of Halloween, which is fun.
That can be fun.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
I like November.
Solid,
Alright.
solid birthdays all around.
Yeah, solid birthdays. All right, except for John. I feel bad for John.
And the
I feel
6
like that's
months
what
I
I
didn't
learned in
name.
this segment. Yeah.
And the 6 months we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
What would be
Yeah,
the
but
worst
they deserve
month?
it.
The worst?
Worst month?
December, January is the worst.
Think so?
December. Yeah, December, January, probably.
Okay. Yeah, I'd probably go December because, like I was saying, my
Or
cousin's
June,
birthday
like
is
early June. Like,
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Sorry,
sorry
brother.
to your, sorry to your brother, but you don't get the benefit of the school. Like, you just missed school, plus it's hot as hell. It's like, yeah, there's no win there.
Yeah, I
There's
would-
no. I mean, other than maybe an
You're-
NBA Finals corresponding, like, there's not a lot of great sports tie-ins.
Normally it's closer to the draft, actually.
Yeah.
My brother's birthday was on the draft one
That's
time.
true. All right. ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. One segment left. It's what we love from Sports Week and the worst people in sports this week. We'll get to that when we get back on ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5.
You're back inside the bullpen with the producers of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5. Welcome back in. One final segment, our worst people in sports this week and what we love from sports this week, as we do to end the show every week. Quick programming note, next week, Sean, Joe, and myself are going to be out at LaBerge Casino in Lake Charles, Louisiana doing the show. So it'll be, I'm pretty sure, a 3-hour show, right, Sean? That's what we did last time we were in at LaBerge. But yeah, we'll have I'm just going to say it on record, 3-hour show there at LaBerge. So make sure to join us. I don't know if I'm going to get served a death burger again, but that was great radio.
They do have the death wings, maybe.
Oh, okay. All right. I might try the death wings this time. Make sure to have milk ready for me, because that was
so excited for you guys.
Cam Smith, if you couldn't tell, will be in studio.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe next time.
I was supposed to go last time in that stupid weather.
Yeah. Mother Nature did us a favor. Didn't have you. Yeah, they didn't I don't think Louisiana's ready for you, Cam.
No.
Yeah.
It is.
All right. He's ready for
All
Louisiana.
right. So my worst person in sports this week, I'll keep it short. I actually got sent this video. It was an Instagram video, I guess, from my wife. Apparently in Finland, there's something called the Hobby Horse Championship. And it's gone on so long that there's the 11th annual, and it's exactly what it sounds like. These are adults with like children's hobby horses running like the horse, like equestrian
dressage.
Right, like doing. I couldn't believe the video. The whole country of Finland is my worst person in sports this week.
For allowing that?
Yeah, for allowing the 11th annual. Not just allowing it. This is the 11th year. The video is in our Google Doc. Watch it. Obviously, the people at home can. Well, Sean, Cam, and Johnny Belmer, yeah. Make sure you watch it. Sean, what is your worst person in sports this week?
My worst person in sports this week, one Eldrick Tiger Woods, for launching a new Sunday Day brand, or Sun Day, but it's two different words.
Okay.
Red launches a new Summer Soft collection, and let me tell you, these are just plain black sweatpants. These are plain white socks. These are a plain
with an upcharge.
Looks like a navy blue hoodie and a plain white-ish, kind of off-white hat. Yes, the plain black jogger pants cost $150 American dollars. I'll show you the.
Those are just basic, yeah. Those are so basic.
The socks are $30.
Those are $30 socks.
$30
for one pair. This is not even a pack.
It's not a bundle package.
White socks.
Oh my god.
$170 for this navy blue hoodie.
If someone ever has paid $30 for non-dress socks, I don't want to ever talk to you or be friends. Like
even
that's
dress
insane.
Socks, honestly,
yeah, even dress socks. I'll give it a minor exemption for dress socks, but yeah, that's still a reach. I mean, plain white socks? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Tiger Woods.
Oh, that's a worthy nominee there, Sean. Cam, your worst person in sports.
I'm gonna be honest. I really don't have one.
All right,
but I would say that yours is. If I could piggyback off of one, I saw that video. I don't know why, but I legitimately got a little irked. Like, I was a little frustrated.
You're going to write a letter to the editor?
A strongly worded letter. Like, I'm going to send it through a postcard,
Send them a postcard,
too.
Yes, there we go. Call back.
That is just...
Call back, nice.
I mean, I've seen some crazy sports. Like, I think there's another one in, like, Sweden or something where it's, like, the husband piggybacks the wife.
Yes,
like, okay,
yes.
that's silly,
I've seen
but
that.
I get it.
It's like there's something called like the wife carrying championships.
Yeah.
It's like these athletic events that you do while carrying your wife around. Yes, I've heard of that as well. It's crazy. All right. Just 2 minutes. Let's get to the things we love from this week. We're not going to have time to get to everything here. But Sean, what is the thing you love from sports this week?
The thing I loved in sports this week was a person, Coach Joe Mazzulla, and being able just to get into Joe Mazzulla's mind a little bit more. Here's him talking about his strategy for robbing a bank.
If we decide to form a bank robbery ring, what is your role going to be?
I want to plan the whole thing, like attention to detail, like assign people to, like, find the people that you know's personalities and characteristics work for each positioning that you need. Like, I think it's all about the preparation. Like, I think once you're in that moment, you have to rely on the preparation similar to a game. So I would like to be the guy that plans it and hires the people and sets it in motion, or the guy that has to have steady hands, control his breathing to execute the safe.
Wow, he put some thought into this.
He has an answer for how he robbed the bank.
This is the same guy that's watched The Town, like every
yeah.
Okay. So he's put some thought into this. All right. The thing I love from sports this week as we continue to doggy paddle in the sea of tranquility. I don't think I got that line in. Pat McAfee has been a godsend to the play-by-play of professional wrestling. And this last Monday Night Raw, we're going to use the last part of this, Johnny. They did Sean, I don't know if you're aware, but there's an ongoing love triangle drama right now on Monday Night Raw between Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
With Liv trying to woo away Dominic Mysterio to leave Rhea and come with her. So there's been hotel keys passed around. There's been some salacious activities, and Pat McAfee did a telestrator replay of the set events from this last Monday Night Raw. Take a listen.
Roll it. We still have a little key situation.
We got missing key cards.
We found it. It was in his pants.
¿De dónde sacaste eso?
He spoke Spanish. He asked the same question as us.
This is evil. It has to go. It's got to go.
Hold on now. Wait a second. Rewind. Bang. Let's keep an eye on this hand right here. Finn Balor. Play it. Pause it. He was on it. He took the road key. Finn Balor put it in his pocket. We thought it was Dom. There's no way it was McDonough. Lito's eating an apple. El Campion's got problems. And Finn Balor now has a hotel road key in his pocket. You know what that means?
I do, but I don't know if we can talk about it live on Monday Night Raw.
And the whole thing. Yes, well done there, Johnny Belmer. But the whole thing of, there's more of it where he's illustrating Liv Morgan falling on top of Dom, their interaction backstage. He's drawing on it like a telestrator, rewinding, rolling, play it, yelling out. It's fantastic. You got to seek it out. Cam, quickly, what is the thing you love from sports this week?
Yes, this is for my lovely mother. She is an Aggie, and they are playing in the College World Series Championship for the first time in their history.
Nice.
So I can appreciate that for her, and I guess gig 'em.
Who are they playing?
Tennessee.
Go Vols. All right, that'll do it for ESPN Radio 97.5 and 92.5 Texas Forever. Sorry about that, Cam. We'll be back next week live for 3 hours from LaBerge Casino in Lake Charles, Louisiana. See you next week, Houston.